Hello, welcome. Come on in. Welcome to our masterclass from spreadsheet chaos to fundraising clarity. Happy to have everybody here. Come on in. Awesome. Oh, I see my friend Ashley. Oh, awesome. Hi, Liz and Jess, Melanie, Rachel. Awesome. If you have ever had that sinking feeling of wondering, did that donor give last year or who's following up with a sponsor? You're in the right place. I'm so glad you're here. Say hello in the chat for me, just that we know it's working. Tell me where you're joining us from. I know I have lots of my Indiana friends in here. Also let me know what you're drinking. I always have a giant jug of water with me. So tell me your favorite drink in the chat. Say hello to your friends. Awesome. Ashley's drinking some Diet Mountain Dew. Oh, the Westfield water. And Arnold Palmer of tea and lemonade with Melanie. Awesome. Oh, we got lots of friends from Texas. Cool. Well, if you're watching this back later, hello. We wish you were here with us. Awesome. If you just hopped in, throw your name in the chat. Tell us where you're watching from and what your favorite beverages you're drinking right now on your desk. So let me hop in as everybody's kind of joining in the group. Here's my promise to you today. By the time we wrap up, you will know the 5 simple steps to get your donor data organized, how to create a system that can actually keep up with, and how to stop losing donors simply because they slip through the cracks. You should have received a workbook link in your reminder email today, and my team's going to drop a link in the chat in case you want to open that up and keep it handy because you're definitely going to want to jot down some action steps today. This class is jam-packed with ideas, and I promise you it's more than five tips, more than 5 steps. So grab that notebook, your favorite notebook, and we can get into the class. I know many of you are here because tracking donors is really overwhelming. You are juggling so many responsibilities, and donor management often feels like it's slipping through the cracks. Here's what I hear from nonprofits all the time. Our donor information is scattered around spreadsheets, emails, and sometimes even post-it notes. We have no consistent system for following up and thanking our donors. Board reports take hours and sometimes days to pull together. We can't afford a big CRM, but spreadsheets just aren't cutting it, or worse. We have a CRM, but no one knows how to use it. What you really want is one central place for all donor information so you can find what you need instantly and a way to track who gave, when, why they gave, and how they were thanked. Reporting that's quick and accurate and doesn't make you want to pull out your hair, and systems that remind you to follow up so you can focus on the relationships and not just the admin. So that's what we're going to work through today. If you relate to all of that, put a "so true" in the chat for me. Awesome. For those of you who don't know me, I am Gabie Benson, founder of Sprout Fundraising and Consulting, and I've spent 20 years leading and growing dozens of nonprofits. And I started my career in the annual fund of a large public university, creating direct mail appeals for 500,000 living alumni. But I was also the 21-year-old raising my hand in staff meetings, asking why we weren't making it easier for our alumni to donate online in the year 2005. I've always believed that we should utilize technology to work smarter and not harder. I launched Sprout Fundraising and Consulting to help nonprofits access affordable strategic fundraising solutions. And since launching my consulting company, nearly all of my clients came to me either with no database at all or a system that were completely overwhelmed by. They struggled to build consistent revenue, and because they had no way to organize and track their donors. And then we put a simple system in place, and the difference was night and day. Donors were thanked faster, retention rates went up, and finally they had clarity about what was working. That's why I created Sprout Table, a donor database I wish I'd had years ago. And if you stay to the end of today's class, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. But first, I want to get into the content of today's class. So, according to the 2023 Bloomerang Donor Retention Report, first-time donor retention rates are dipping as low as 19%. That means 4 out of 5 first-time donors will never give again. But when organizations have a system in place to track their donor engagement and follow up with meaningful stewardship, retention rates can increase significantly, up to 60% or more for your repeat donors. And just a 10% increase in your donor retention can increase donor lifetime value by 200%. That's why this really matters. It's 5 to 7 times more expensive to acquire a new donor than to keep an existing one. So if your organization is constantly replacing lost donors, you're spending more time and more money and more energy to stay in the exact same place. Low donor retention puts you on a fundraising hamster wheel where you just are like running and running and running to keep up. Without a system in place to build lasting donor relationships, it's nearly impossible to create predictable revenue or plan for long-term growth. This isn't just about data entry, this is about relationships. But if your data is scattered, your stewardship is going to slip through the cracks. And that's where organizations are losing thousands of dollars every year in missed renewals, forgotten thank yous, and donors who never come back. Last year, I was ghosted by a nonprofit. They were a brand new organization. I was thrilled to see them launch and provide a really important service in my community. I made a donation to them over a year ago, and I have never heard from them since. Last week, I heard that they were closing their doors, and part of me wondered if that could have been prevented. Yes, donors will disappear on you, but if we don't have proper follow-up, we aren't giving them the opportunity to see the impact of their support and inspire them to give again. So don't be the one who's ghosting your donors. So now that we have an understanding about why our data matters, we're going to go through 5 simple steps that are going to take you from spreadsheet chaos to fundraising clarity. The first step is identifying what data actually matters. Before you can organize your donor data, you need to know what's actually worth tracking. So most nonprofits are either tracking everything and they end up overwhelmed, or nothing and they lose really valuable insight. But when you focus on the right data points, you unlock clarity and confidence in your fundraising. So here's 4 essential categories of donor data that every organization should be tracking. And I'm going to go through these, but if there's something else that your organization is tracking that would be helpful for everybody else, put it in the chat so we can learn together. The first one is your donor contact information and biographical information. This is your foundation. You need a clean, accurate record for each donor's full name and their preferred name, if they have a nickname, pronouns, and if they give as a couple. You want a mailing address with standardized formats, like whether or not you use abbreviations for your street names and states, an email and a phone number, and is it an office number or a mobile number? Their communication preferences. So do they prefer to hear from you by email, mail, phone, or text? And key biographical notes, like who's their employer? What has been their board service? What are their interests? What are their giving motivations? You can't steward donors well if you don't know how to reach them or what matters most to them. So even those small touches, like including a donor's nickname in your communication or reference kids, can significantly increase engagement. The second area is donation history. You want to track each gift, not just the total amount, but other key fields, like the date of the donation, the amount, the gift type, meaning is this from an individual, a sponsorship, a grant, an event ticket? What was the campaign or appeal source? So what's a fundraising request that has inspired this gift? How did they give? Did they give online? Did they send it a check? Is this from a donor advised fund? And is it recurring or a one-time donation? All of this is insight into how to approach a donor to give again. Knowing how and when donors give allows you to tailor your asks, segment your appeals, and identify lapsed donors who might just need a little nudge. The third area is stewardship touchpoints. And this is where our spreadsheets and sometimes our CRMs really start to fall apart. Uh, but it's one of the most critical categories. You should be logging every thank you, invite, update, or personal note and the date of that correspondence. This ensures you know exactly how you've engaged them and when it's time to reach out again. Or when you have reached out a dozen times and it's maybe time to take a break. Stewardship is retention. So if you're not logging it, you can't improve on it, and your donors may feel forgotten even if you think you have thanked them. The fourth category is engagement and relationship notes. Not everything fits into a transaction field. So this is really the place where we're tracking human moments. Notes about conversations or visits you've had with the donor, their volunteer involvement, their board service, milestones, personal milestones like a new job or retirement or birthday. Do they engage with you with your emails, your marketing emails? Did they recently click through on a marketing email? You're paying attention to all the ways that they engage with your organization. And these are things that make donors feel seen and valued in your interaction with them. This also creates a history for future team members to build on. This is the magic of relationship fundraising. When you remember somebody's story, not just their gift, you turn a donor into a champion for your cause. And so now that we've, cleaned up, let's talk about how we clean up this data. Because we know what we want to track, but it's got to be clean to be able to be usable. So having clean data in your system, whether using a CRM or a spreadsheet, saves you time when you need to pull a list for an annual report or direct mail appeal. I don't know how many times I've spent hours cleaning the same set of data pulled out of CRM to make sure that Indianapolis was spelled correctly, because it's all just pulling in from online sources. If you're cleaning along the way and following these 5 steps, then we're going to always keep that data nice and tidy. So here's a simple process for you. Start small. Focus on your active donors from the last 18 months before you dig into older records. Those are your most important people right now. Your standardized formats. Pick one format for your dates or your address fields and phone numbers. Do you spell out street and road and boulevard, or are they abbreviations? Do you use the full name of a state or just a 2-letter abbreviation? Decide if couples are going to be listed with an and or an ampersand between their names. Are you going to use prefixes and suffixes? All of these become little micro steps that you have to clean up later in the year if you don't already have clean data. Merge your duplicates. Combine records that have the most complete version in one place, and look for the links between corporate sponsors, family foundations, and individual donors. Their giving may come from lots of different sources, but all of it comes back to one single household. Fill in the gaps as you go. So if you find you're missing information, use your past correspondence or Google or LinkedIn to fill it in, and tag all of your audiences as you go. Add simple tags like Gala 2025 or monthly donors so that you can find them, track them, and use them for segmentation. Tags can help you segment and send tailored follow-up. So for example, add a Gala 2025 tag to everyone who attended, and then come next year, you can customize your outreach specifically to that audience to say, you joined us last year, and we hope you come again. Use a sponsor tag for all of your sponsors, noting their sponsorship level so that in a few months, you can send them an impact report and an early renewal offer. Add a volunteer tag and note the role and date they volunteered. This could be a great group for you to target for monthly giving. Or you can use tags to distinguish your donor's interests. So maybe you're running a animal rescue organization. Add a tag for dog lovers and one for cat lovers. And so you can customize the images a donor would see when you send emails or mailings. Tagging is what makes your data really powerful. It's the difference between just having a donor list and having a tool that you can actually use to drive fundraising. But tags only help if you can find them and you can use them quickly. Otherwise, they just become another column in your spreadsheet or a field somewhere in your CRM. So that's where step 2 comes in. Turning all consistent and beautifully segmented data into a system that's actually searchable and actionable. Your donor information should be at your fingertips, not buried in endless spreadsheets or a CRM that you don't know how to use. Or so I highly recommend exploring a structured system like an Airtable database that lets you quickly search, filter, and update donor records effortlessly. Your ideal system would have a quick at-a-glance view of giving history and contact information, engagement notes to personalize outreach, searchable, filterable, accessible to your whole team, and built-in dashboards to track who gave, who lapsed, and who needs to thank you. I don't know how many times I have heard that the whole list is on one person's computer, the spreadsheet. It's not accessible to everybody else. Everyone on the team, the other board members can't access it. So finding something that brings your whole team together, but is also easily to search and a simple searchable system keeps you focused on relationships, not digging for data. Helps prevent donor fatigue by ensuring your outreach is timely and relevant because you've been tracking all of those engagement things we talked about already. And it makes your donor segmentation and stewardship automatic and not overwhelming. Imagine being able to pull a list of lapsed donors for your fall campaign in under 60 seconds, or knowing instantly who hasn't received a thank you in the last month. Your current system can't do that. It's not a system, it's just chaos in disguise. Step 3 is automating our stewardship, ensuring no donor is overlooked. And if you don't have a pen ready, I'm going to give you a ton of ideas right here that you want to capture for your stewardship ideas. So what's one of the biggest reasons donors don't give again? They don't feel appreciated or remembered, or they weren't thanked. And yet stewardship is the first thing to fall off your to-do list when you're overwhelmed. That's where automation comes in. It doesn't mean losing the personal touch. It means creating consistency so that every donor receives timely follow-up no matter how busy your team is. So I'm going to give you a few simple high-impact stewardship steps that you can automate. And if you have other ideas that have worked in your organization, put them in the chat because there's far more than the ones that I'm going to go over today. The first one is turning on your thank you emails. Triggering an automatic thank you email as soon as a gift is logged, personalized with the donor's name, amount, and gift designation. Ideally, this is sent from your website. This is sent in addition to the one coming from your website or credit card processor. And if you don't know if your system does this right now, go make a $25 donation to your organization and see what communication automatically comes to you as the donor so you know how somebody might feel about it. You can't imagine how many organizations don't even know that there's not a thank you message coming out after an online donation. Set up reminders for your staff. Send automated internal notifications when a major donor gives or a pledge payment is made, or when it's time to make a thank you call or send a handwritten note, or when a donor hasn't been thanked for 48 hours. Build donor journeys. Create multi-step touch points for targeted audiences. You might also hear these called nurture sequences. So for example, a first-time donor, you could set up an automated donor journey that initially sends them a thank you and then shares an impact story with them and then invites them to your next event. Or your monthly donors might receive milestone messages throughout the year that they're giving with behind-the-scenes updates. Or an event attendee might receive a welcome to your organization, then followed by an impact story, and then followed by a message about how they can get more involved. All of these can be set up to be triggered by your donor's engagement. And the last one is explore renewal reminders. You could set up automated nudges when a donor's last gift was 11 months ago and they're about to lapse, or a pledge payment is coming due, or a recurring donor's credit card has expired. All of those automations will help you stay on top of your stewardship, but also the fundraising revenue coming into your organization. Donors are 39% more likely to give again if they're thanked within 48 hours. Automations ensure no one slips through the cracks, whether they gave $10 or $10,000. And it saves you hours of manual follow-up and builds trust without extra effort. Following up is good customer service. And the goal isn't to automate relationships, but to create space so we can have more of them. So I see the question about how do you automate all of that? So I want you to consider and explore a tool like Zapier that will connect your systems and build automations to save you time. Zapier is like a translator between all of your online tools. If your donation platform and your email marketing tool and your database don't talk to each other, Zapier can help connect them. So here's a few ideas on how you can use Zapier. You could set up a Zap so that when somebody donates online, that information automatically goes into your database. If it's not set up that way already. You could set up another Zap that sends a donor an instant thank you email from your email marketing platform and starts that donor journey that we talked about, personalized with their name, the amount, and the campaign or designation they gave to. You could create a Zap that drafts an email into your inbox so that you can send a highly personalized email to that donor the day after they gave. You can even trigger Slack notifications for your team or add a task into your project management tool for follow-up. The beauty of Zapier is that it eliminates manual entry. It reduces your human error, because we all make mistakes, and ensures that no donor gets missed because the data is all stuck in one platform. You can build a Zap for just about anything you need in your donor stewardship process, from text messages, automated text messages to your donors, to sending handwritten, printed thank you cards in the mail. So tell me in the chat one manual task that you are currently doing that you could use Zapier to make your life a whole lot easier for when it comes to managing your donor data or your stewardship. One of my favorites is triggering that handwritten thank you note in the mail so that if we are working in an online world and our team is all over the place, you can use Zapier to send handwritten messages without anyone being ultimately responsible for writing and mailing things out. There's companies that will do that for you. Awesome. I challenge you to go set up a free Zapier account and test that out. All right, step 4 is track your fundraising metrics to make smarter decisions. Fundraising isn't just about how much money you've raised. It's also about understanding what's working and how we can build on it. You can't improve what you don't measure, but you can't measure what you can't see. So that's why tracking the right metrics is really critical to growing consistent, predictable revenue. Without metrics, you're making decisions in the dark. And with them, you are leading with clarity and confidence. So tell me in the chat, are there any particular metrics that you track within your organization? Which metrics are most important to you? We're going to go over a couple. I highly recommend building a dashboard to monitor the metrics that matter the most to you. So let's talk about donor retention rate. This is the percentage of donors who gave last year and again this year. And you want to look at your total retention rate, but you also want to look at your retention rate of donors over a certain dollar amount or at each giving level. Low donor dollars are much harder to retain year after year, but maybe you're retaining 60% or more of your $500 and plus donors. Even a 10% increase in your retention can boost donor lifetime value by 200%. So this is a really critical metric for us to be tracking. The other is your LIBUNs and your SIBUNs, which are donors who gave last year, but unfortunately not this year, or they gave some year, but unfortunately not this year. You want to easily be able to see who hasn't given yet this year and what is their giving potential if renewed. I used to track to the dollar. And because I had a firm understanding of my retention trends by giving level and the donors that were in my LIBUNT list, I could estimate how close we would be to our goal very accurately. Like these two pieces together can help you determine if you're on track to meet your goals. Your dashboard should visualize your giving trends. It should track average gift size, frequency of giving, campaign performance, even seasonal spikes. You can adjust your strategy in real time. Are your donors giving more or less or the same? Are your donors responding better to campaigns or appeals focused on one of your specific programs? How many new or first-time donors have you acquired? Metrics are your early warning sign in your growth map. When you know it's working, you can double down. When you know what's slipping, you can fix it before it costs you. When you know your numbers, you can stop guessing and start growing. Metrics give you the story behind the dollars and the strategy to move you forward. So, step 5 is to ditch your spreadsheet chaos and use a system that works for you. And if you're not currently using a CRM or what you have isn't working for you, either as an organization or as an individual fundraiser, I want to tell you about Sprout Table. When I started consulting and began working with small-sized nonprofits, I noticed a common thread. They desperately needed a better way to track and organize data. So I built a simple Airtable base for one client, and then another, and then another. And each time I tweaked it based on what would make their lives easier, fewer clicks or clearer insights, built-in stewardship workflows. And eventually I realized that this could help lots of organizations. And that's how Sprout Table was born. Sprout Table is a ready-to-use Airtable template designed specifically for small nonprofits, but it has many uses. It is ideal if you have fewer than 300 annual donors. Airtable gives you a spreadsheet-like layout, but it's so much more. You can link tables, build automated workflows, track donors, and generate real-time reports. But it's really hard to build an Airtable base from scratch, so I did it for you. It's not fancy software. It's thoughtfully designed Airtable template packed with fundraising intelligence and best practices to track your individual donors, sponsors, campaign designations, contact information, board members, grantors, and more. And it grows with you. As you scale, you could add new features and new automations and really customize it for how your data flows. Most importantly, it saves time and mental energy so you can spend less time wrangling spreadsheets and more time growing your mission. And whether you do it yourself or we do it for you, you'll walk away with a system that's ready to use this week. All you have to do is add your donation history. The formulas and pre-built automations take care of the rest. Sprout Table is available in a DIY package, which includes the Airtable template with built-in pre-built tables and automations and dashboards, a step-by-step training course to show you how to customize and use it, a user guidebook to help orient your team, and pre-built stewardship workflows to automate all of your donor follow-up. And today you can get the entire template and training course for just $3.99. Your additional investment is really minimal. Airtable actually offers qualified nonprofits and educational institutions a 50% off discount per user on their team plans. It comes out to about $12 per user per month. But honestly, most organizations are going to be fine using the free version of Airtable, which includes up to 1,000 records per base and 100 automation runs per month. Anybody who purchases Sprout Table during our launch period here, as we're sort of announcing it, will receive a bonus training on next level donor stewardship automations included in their course. And that's where I'm going to walk through how to send those printed, handwritten thank you letters in the mail, and how to use Zapier to do that. All the fundraising strategies in the world will not work without a system for your contacts and your donors. I've seen firsthand how a simple system can transform donor retention and revenue. So that's why I built this Airtable template to give you the tools without the overwhelm. Sprout Table is also a flexible solution that adapts to how your brain works and how you need to see things, whether you're a visual thinker, a list lover, or somewhere in between. Now, if that feels overwhelming, I got you. If you want it all done for you, we have you covered with a VIP setup option. This is the most popular choice for nonprofits that want a completely customized, ready to launch system with expert support and none of the work. This package includes everything in our DIY, plus all the implementation is handled by our Sprout fundraising team. You get a dedicated VIP day where we optimize your Sprout table for your fundraising strategy. We customize all of your engagement emails. Those are written and automated by our team. We do all of the data cleanup, consolidation of your spreadsheet so you have a nice, tidy system. And we will run your donor list through a wealth screening to help you identify your best potential donors. And that benefit alone really pays for the whole system itself. Our VIP option is available for $14.99, and Sprout Table is a one-time investment. No monthly fee, no annual contracts. It's yours to build and grow without growing your expenses. All right, friends, we've covered a lot today. Thank you for all of you who are still here with me. You now have five, maybe not so simple, but five strategic steps to take your donor data from scattered and stressful to organized and easy. We talked about what donor data actually matters, how to set up a simple searchable system that your whole team can use, automated stewardship so no donor ever slips through the cracks, tracking the right metrics to make smart fundraising decisions, and of course, how Sprout Table can save you hours every month, help you retain more donors without the tag of a big CRM. So here's what next. I'm going to send you a recording of today's presentation so you have it in your inbox within 24 hours and you can read any section and share it with your team, clean up all of your data. Also get a link to our Sprout Table page where you can look at the options for DIY or VIP package to get started. And if you still have questions about whether this would work for your organization or questions about anything we talked about today, let's talk. I'm here to make sure you have the clarity you need to grow your fundraising. So I'm going to open up and see if there's any questions in the chat about whether data cleanup or automations, segmenting after events. And remember, your donor data is the foundation of your fundraising. So the sooner you get it in order, the sooner you can spend less time wrangling spreadsheets and data and make more time for growing your mission. Let me take a peek at the chat. Does anybody have any questions? You want to go back to anything we covered? I know I talk fast. Oh, donor data must be stored in Canada. Rachel, that's a great question. Airtable is a global cloud-based service. It's been around. I've used it for more than 10 years myself. Use it for my business. I've used it running nonprofits, but I don't know where their storage center is. So that's a great question. I'm happy our team will take a look at that and send you an email with that answer. Awesome. Well, again, if anybody has any questions, if you want to do a little demo with me of Sprout Table, I'm happy to do that. Or reach out to us at hello@sproutfundraising.com and our team will be happy to answer any questions. I want to thank you for spending part of your day with me. There's a storm rolling in here to Indianapolis, so thank you all for hanging in there with me. I'm so glad I didn't lose my power over all of this. Reach out if you have any questions. It's so nice to see all of you. Have an awesome day.